Hello and good morning. We're going to sit here just a minute and let the stream roll. See how many of you we can catch out of that stream with our astrology fishing poles. And then we'll start talking about the weekly astrology for June 29th, 2025 to July 6th, 2025. And this is Astro-Insights Live. Astro-Insights Live.
Astro-Insights
Today is the
Live.
29th. I'm going to try and get a chart of the moment. It takes a lot longer than I thought. I'll do a 10 a.m.er. Oats.
Where are you looking for the chart of the moment?
Because I want to.
Oh, I asked where, but okay.
Oh, where? Cafe Astrology.
Okay.
I'm really not looking for. I think we have a. There we go. Hopefully, we got a good connection somewheres. Don't see anybody with us just yet, so that gives me time to get this chart going. And then once I get that up,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this doesn't exactly do what I want it to do. Maybe I need to ask her something. It tells me all the information, but I want the charty chart. I want the chart. I want the real thing.
We want the chart.
Baby. We want every astro chart in the world. Yeah. Oh, I did all that work. Oh, there it is. Okay. Now let's see if I can share that. Still nobody on here, so I'm just gonna diddle right now. That's today's chart. It is actually a screen shot of my browser.
Okay.
So I think if I go in there, can you see it scrolling? To see where the sun, moon, Mercury, and all that is?
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Well, we figured something out while we were waiting. All right. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. We were just trying to figure out when y'all were going to join us, and we have displayed above Melrose's head the chart of the moment, 10 a.m. right here, and we are in beautiful Kansas City, Missouri. Good morning and welcome to Astro Insights Live. My name is Jennifer Rose, and I'm here with my sweet wife, Melrose, Astrology Melrose. And we are going to talk to you about an intense week coming up next week, June 29th through July 6th of 2025. And this is Rose Tarot and Astrology, and we're so grateful that you're here and spending time with us today. So I'm going to turn this over to Mel so she can begin talking about the astrology. And, if you want to if you know your big three, give those in the chat just for funsies. I'll be monitoring the chat. Or if you just know your sun sign, put that in the chat so we can see who we're talking with. Oh, good morning, Colton.
Yeah.
Mel.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Rose Tarot and Astrology. I am your host, Melrose, and today is Sunday, June 29, 2024. Can you believe we are over halfway through the year? Already, friends, already. So, as you know, as above, so below, we look to the stars and the way the planets move across the backdrop of the stars to give us some symbolic hints and inklings as to sort of what kind of energies we are working through here on planet Earth. And with that information, hopefully we can just, navigate our own lives and make the changes that we need to make, and investigate ourselves, and pay attention to our relationships in the detailed way that we want to be able to do that, so that we can have success and prosperity and better times going forward all the time. So not that you can only have ever a trajectory of always getting better, right? We've got ups and downs, we've got peaks and valleys. Was it strikes and gutters, friends? So navigating through all of that, it's really just helpful to have as much information as you can have. So thank you for being here. I'm so happy that you're here with us on this journey. Today, the sun is in Cancer, and the waxing Leo moon is going to move into Virgo. Oh, when is that? It's actually probably already passed this morning. So let's just say that the moon is in Virgo today. And when the moon is in Virgo, so that's the vibration we're starting off this week with. When the moon is in Virgo, we become very detail oriented. We get very particular. We really value information, data, communication. We value organization. We value, following processes, making things work in a very down to the details oriented sort of way. So if you're feeling that, especially in your personal life, if you're getting down to some details in your home life or in your private relationships or in your relationship with yourself, they're really starting to get particular about what's going to move, what's going out, what's coming in, and how, then you wouldn't be alone. That's kind of the vibration that it is the vibration that we're living in right now. And, I say that because the moon is really one of our most personal and powerfully effective planets. So it does have to do with your home life and your private experience. And in Virgo, we're just a little more meticulous and detail oriented, and that's okay. Today we have, and I want to talk a little bit about the sun in Cancer, because the sun just went into Cancer last week. I think that I have that down here. Yes. Last week, the sun did go into Cancer. Was that last week or was it the week before? It was the week before, wasn't it? No, it was last week. Last week, the sun went into Cancer, and we had that new moon in Cancer conjunct Jupiter. It's a very fortunate, good luck, blessing kind of vibe. It's watery, it's abundant, it's like a fountain, a beautiful fountain. It's like Jupiter wants to make it rain love and blessings and connection and positive emotional beginnings, emotional initiative in a good way in our lives. So I'm really happy to be coming out of this week because earlier in the week was a bit of a struggle bus, but at this point in the week, we've been through some trines. We've had some positive stuff happen to sort of reinforce our faith in the universe. And now coming into today, Cancer sun, waxing moon in Virgo. Waxing moon is a time when we are working to fulfill the accomplishments and the goals that we have set for ourselves. And Mercury today is going to oppose Pluto. So Mercury in opposition to Pluto puts these two in, sort of a conversation of tension. There's a conflict here, okay, where, Mercury, okay, Pluto's in Aquarius, Mercury is in Leo. So Mercury's got some things to say, and it's a little bit like chop, chop, chop. Let's get this done. All right. It's about the actions that we're taking. It's about our sustained opportunities for taking action and what we're doing with that. Like, we really want to take action now. Whereas Pluto is in Aquarius going, yeah, but we got these big systems to kind of figure out and to work within and to resist against. So with all of that said, there's some powerful information this weekend being pulled out into the light. What is new? If you watch the news, there's a lot going on in the world right now. A lot of it is actually pretty scary. There are some positive things happening in the world as well, though. Powerful information coming to light can be a positive or a negative thing. We just want to balance. We want to find a balance between our desire to act like speedy, quick right now because we see the urgency, and like making sure we have all of the information we need to act. So that's where the conflict comes in. You want to find that balance. You want to make sure you have the information you need to act before you take the action.
Right.
And our conversations are just going to be more intense. They're going to be more likely to show where we're in a power struggle, either with ourselves or with somebody else, or with a system or an institution, our workplace, the government, that kind of thing. The power struggles are going to become more apparent to us. We're gonna see like where I am disempowered or where I am empowered, and how do I take advantage of the power in a way that doesn't stomp on other people, right? But also, how do I look at my disadvantage as a strength, and work within the structure that I'm in to be able to still become empowered, have the things that I need. So that's the vibration, and it's a conflict vibration. It's a little bit, what am I gonna do? Make sure you have all the information, all right? Check your boxes before you go on before you go on a mission.
Yes. So I'm trying to see if I can get this information up so I can talk about it a little bit. But and you're talking about that's today's.
That's today. What's happening today?
And so where that resonates with me, I don't know how I always see these news snippets before we get on. I think I'm waiting to get on, so I'm just like scrolling. But I noticed that in this talk about how to push agendas forward and so on and so forth, I guess it was late last night that the Senate advanced a bill. They did a late night vote over the bill late Saturday night. In a 51-49 vote, all but 2 Republicans voted to advance the centerpiece legislation of Mr. Trump's second term agenda, following hours of delay as the GOP appeared to iron out last-minute details and support. Talking, right? And just trying to figure it out. The vote stayed open for more than 3 hours as holdouts sought assurances from GOP leaders before supporting moving forward on the measure. So I think that that really tracks. I love how astrology does highlight some things that are going on in current events, but definitely there was a lot of talking happening, that Mercury and Pluto vibe. So I just wanted to interject that because it made me think. I'm like, oh, I have something to say.
Well, the times really are changing, and it's great that you're pointing to like government and legislation there, because Pluto in Aquarius is going to have us talking about government and legislation and how things are changing all the time now. And I think it's interesting that like we've had this extreme in the US for a long time where Congress would get sort of locked down by an extreme version of one party, and there would be no progress to be made, nothing passing, nothing going through. And it's interesting to see now that things have gotten so extreme, like in the executive branch, that even the people on the legislative branch are like, like, hold on, we do have to exercise some restraint here. And maybe they are and maybe they are not able to get some restraint or some some common sense measures into that big beautiful bill. Not to say that there are no common sense measures in the big beautiful bill, but I feel like I know pretty well what Trumpism is about, and I'm not really with it. So all I'm saying is that it's interesting to see how things are changing within that system, that system that we all were educated about as children in the United States, and feel like we know so well and always felt like it would work so well. It's interesting to see how those three branches that are supposed to balance each other are wobbling right now, and really trying to stabilize again after this takeover that we've experienced.
Right. Yeah. So these late night votes are always they're always curious to me. And now that we say that, I'm going to start looking at the astrology surrounding what's going on. And I know a lot of that is because they want to spend their 4th of July doing, patriotic things like all the rest of us. But, like they tell us, you've got a job to do first. So I don't know.
Well, doing it in the middle of the night. It wasn't like a sneaky thing, but it's still pretty plutonic to be doing it like around midnight in the middle of the night, like up all hours trying to pull this out of your butt at the last minute.
It's really kind of like, being brought in for questioning. And, the later it is, the more tired you are, the more you're probably going to go over to my side. Maybe I can talk you into something, just.
Yes. That kind of hunting where you just chase the goat until it stops.
Right. Yeah.
Until it stops running.
I think that could be a strategy. And if not, you're welcome.
All right. So also today, coming off of this past weekend, Mercury is trining Neptune and Saturday. So this is a good time to show courage and letting us all know what inspires you, and in trying to express yourself with music or art or dance or just in your words, or finding a way to say that thing that you want to say about how you idealize something that's very important to you, okay? Or how you idealize what you think our responsibilities are, okay, together. And then also, Venus is currently in the late degrees of Taurus. And I want to say that because Venus is going to move on into Gemini later this week. So Venus in Taurus, still very comfortable, very grounded, providing very secure foundations for us, while that Mercury and Pluto and Saturn and Neptune business goes on. And it's showing, that stuff is showing us what's been hidden. And it's also showing us like what we love and idealize about the newfound information and what we feel responsible to do with that newfound information. So, at this time, we really are kind of rolling in the deep. We're thinking about things that are being uncovered or coming up for ourselves. But Venus in Taurus has got this really grounding effect. So just, really see to your comfort, your physical well-being at this time. That is one thing that Venus would ask you to do. And in Taurus, while you are wrestling with these bigger questions that you have for yourself. And this past week, I'm just going to go back and say that the new moon was conjunct Jupiter on Wednesday, and that was like a powerful place to make a start. We are still, we're still within the new of, not really within the new of the moon, but just past the new of the moon. So if you want to tune into the spell for expansive, generous protection that we did, it's on our YouTube channel here. And there's also a companion reading that goes with that. It costs $11.11. It's worth it. So I'm just going to plug that here. But this Wednesday was such a powerful launching pad. And it's really still, we're in a good place, a good time to make a start on something that you would like to have good fortune in. Okay. When it comes to like Jupiter being involved in something, like really big positive things can happen, but you have to show up where you want that luck to show up for you. Okay. If you just show up at the buffet, you're just gonna get more food. But if you show up, if you show up for the educational experience, or if you show up for the travel experience, or just the new experience that you want to have in the world, then something positive will happen and make it that much better for you. We've really gotten an opportunity these last few days to reckon with our goals and responsibilities while we idealize about what it is that we want to see for ourselves in our lives. So I'm loving that energy. We're still in a pretty positive vibration for manifesting good things for ourselves.
I feel like it's been a pretty interesting new moon experience for me. And I think it's also it's bubbled up some emotions and not just some emotions, but some deeper stuff that I hold dear to, really my values and what I want with relationships and my relationship with everything and everyone. Those things are really in a spotlight right now, and I'm feeling a kind of way about it, which I normally don't feel about it. I usually think about it. I'm very cerebral, but now I'm feeling about it, and it's just different. And it feels very vulnerable, and it feels very much like I want to retreat back somewhere because it's not safe to be out here like this. But I understand that it's part of growth, and it's part of a way of moving forward, moving past, and it's time to create new. And so we've also had a lot of really positive. We visited with some friends from out of town that that was nice. We just had a lot of visits and seeing people that feel like home. We've been back to our hometown several times. We've been talking to people that we grew up with, that we graduated high school with. So like Six of Cups kind of stuff all the way around for us this week, So mixed in with a little bit of self-care and a little bit of, like I think that we got a little passionate and talked a little loudly with one another there for a minute. It was just kind of like this really weird, just like, whoosh,
Well, and it was interesting to me that on the day we were doing the magic spell for new moon protection of homes and families and communities, it was interesting to me that was the day our toilet got clogged.
Oh, right.
So
no, we had
all day while we were trying to get this magic spell going and get in the right vibration to be delivering this magic spell, which it went off great. It went just fine. But all day while we were dealing with that, we were also dealing with like plungers and the question of whether to use a snake.
Right.
And like it was so frustrating. But it really brought like an energy to it of like that frustration. It could be transmuted a little bit into some fierceness when thinking about the protection that we desire for ourselves and our families and our communities and really everybody in the world. So I think it helped to inform like my spell casting, because I just had a little more oomph of emotion in there behind it.
Yeah, I mean, and let's not forget, like our toilet overflowed, and then we found out that our air conditioner was leaking and has flooded our living room on the same day. And I just want to say,
the water theme.
I just want to say that it's really it's so symbolic in our house right now. We are all experiencing, there are 5 of us living in this house, and we're all experiencing a wide range of emotions, a wide range of life experiences that we're all really feeling together. And I know for a fact that there's a lot of those emotions, a lot of those things that we want to say that are stuck. So of course our toilet got stuck. Like literally full of shit, like just full of shit that we need to get rid of, that we need to plunge.
On the day of the new moon in Cancer, which is totally like a flush.
Right, a flush. So like it really was about a flush. And then, we come out here and find out that the air conditioner is leaking, and that it's just something, and it's like really hot outside for us. It's super humid, and we've had to turn down the air conditioner and get a little hot, and that makes you a little bit crankier. So I think it's really kind of a big test for all of us here right now. But we had all those water problems, right. and then the spell.
Well, and people want to think, of Cancer, because that was the new moon in Cancer. That's Sun and Moon and Jupiter in Cancer. And I really have played up like the good fortune and the fact that this is a good place to have a starting point. But we're talking about Cancer. We're talking about the crab. Okay. So we can't forget that Cancer is cranky. It's emotional and initiative. And sometimes emotional initiative, that's about like the first thing you feel, like that annoying thing that you feel, or that defensive thing that you feel, that's likely to make you just go, ah.
I love our homeowner, but it's kind of like, I know that she's going through some shit right now. And, you have to tell her this. And she's like, oh my God. And I'm like, right. Like, we don't even want to bring this to you, but it's an emergency. And we even stopped ourselves from talking about it or doing anything about it, because we didn't want to add to the situation.
Yeah.
But I mean,
We really have to talk through it. Like, how do we handle this? Do we talk
right.
about it? Yes, we have to talk about who has to do the talking. Like,
Right. So,
all of it.
woo, Cancer season. And now it's raining on and off. Like, just, I mean, it rained at least an inch in about 30 minutes earlier, and now it's not doing anything. So, hello, emotions. Woo. Hey, ask me how I am in 10 minutes, and I'll tell you something differently.
So that was last week.
Yes.
And that's us up to date for the moment.
So we're starting in on Monday now, right? The
We're
30th.
starting on Monday.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So coming into Monday for this week, we've got a waxing crescent moon in Virgo, and no exact aspects. And what that means is, like, sure, there's stuff going on in the sky ongoing that we've been talking about, but nothing powerfully new is hitting today. All right. So the rest of the stuff we're going to talk about for this week is just, it's in the offing for a couple of days. We have some time to make ourselves ready for it. So I think that's beautiful to have a nice sort of peaceful day. You know, sun in Cancer, moon in Virgo. Cancer and Virgo, they work well together. Okay. You know, Cancer doesn't mind getting down to the details from time to time, sort of pushing the sand around, you know. And Virgo, you know, likes a chance to get particular at home. Okay, so the sun is really being ruled today by the moon in Virgo, and I think that's beautiful. So if you want to get with your little detail-oriented projects at home or with yourself, you know, start making your lists, start writing out your plan, this is the day to be doing it. And with that waxing crescent moon, especially, you know, this is about, we're writing up our plans, we're talking and thinking about the goals that we're going to accomplish, you know, this month and the next couple of weeks, hopefully in time for that full moon, which is actually next week. So that we will be able to pat ourselves on the back and say, I accomplished something again this month. So think about that. Think about that today. Communicate with yourself and others about what it is that you want to accomplish in the coming weeks. And then on Tuesday, tomorrow, that Virgo moon, still a waxing crescent, moves on into Libra. And when the moon is in Libra, we are feeling that sense of balance in our relationships, and we're assessing whether we are getting as good as we give, or giving as good as we get. So, you know, it's feeling for balance in those relationships, and it's a little bit of like communicating for balance in those relationships as well. So think about how you're navigating your relationships, especially with those you keep close, those that are close to you at home. And, you know, just make sure you're being fair. And if something isn't fair, it's okay to take notice of it. That's all you got to do. Just notice, like, that doesn't feel quite fair. And then depending on who you are, you're going to decide how you want to communicate that, get that point across, or balance that scale, right? So that's the moon in Libra tomorrow. And then also the moon in Libra is going to trine Pluto tomorrow. And that's going to really be a continuation of those sort of inspired and intense conversations that we're having coming from the end of this week, with the Mercury dealing with Pluto, Neptune, and Saturn all at once. So, you know, understand that the conversations are still intense. Hopefully we're taking some inspiration, we're taking some fire, some light to see the path forward from the intensity of the information that we're exposed to at this time. It is a time to be very honest with ourselves and with others about what the emotions are. How do the emotions feel to us? Oh, I feel happy, or oh, I feel confused, or oh, that makes me feel angry. Okay. And again, check your facts, make sure you get all the information after you realize what your emotional response is. If it's not a positive emotional response, or even if it is, make sure you have your facts straight before you take action. But really be honest with yourself. Just like notice how you're feeling in the moment, and tell yourself that that's what this feels like. That gives us, what that does for us is it allows us to heal our personal relationships to those bigger changes that are at work in the world and our lives. Okay, just allowing yourself to feel, noticing how you feel, that's very healing. Part of what part of what keeps us in an unhealed state of being is not being willing to reckon with our emotions. Okay. Like not being willing to get angry and say, I feel angry, or not being willing to feel love and say, gosh, I really love this. Okay. So it's so important. It's so important when you feel an emotion to express it, and not to express it like, I'm going to smash something, I'm angry, but like at least to say the word, wow, that makes me feel really angry. Can be very helpful and very healing, actually.
This is where I want to interject the thing that I say all the time, where this is concerned. I learned this from a therapist, but if something bothers you or hurts your feelings or make you angry, you can just simply say ouch, out loud, and see if anyone inquires to open up, a little bit of a dialogue, and just that way you can just be like, what you just said hurt my feelings a little bit, or whatever that is, give it an opportunity, and then just like, if just let it go by, because it can become something so much bigger if you let it go by and then you ruminate on it and all of that kind of stuff, so make sure to get it out. Our drains are plugged. We've got to push it out.
Yeah, definitely. Pour some hot water down there. That helps too.
Hot water and Dawn dish detergent, apparently, we've learned.
Drink some tea when you're feeling stuck, okay?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, lessons from middle-aged women.
Yeah, from our parents.
Right.
All right.
So moving on into Wednesday. Wednesday is July 2nd, okay? And we've got the sun in Cancer, and that waxing moon in Libra, it will be the half moon that day. So that's halfway from the new moon to the full moon. When you see that half moon in the sky, it literally looks like half of a moon. So that waxing half moon is our sign to get started. It's like, okay, we've been having conversations about everything, and now we've considered what actions we want to take, and we have a plan of action. We're going to get started taking those actions to achieve some of the things that we want to get done in the coming weeks and months. And like, of course, we have bigger plans and smaller plans, and sometimes we just get parts of things done as we go. But count every accomplishment. All right, count every single accomplishment. But Wednesday is the time to go ahead and kick it into action, and that Libra moon vibration is kicking it into action with a sense of balance and with a sense of wanting to be fair in what we do, not just for ourselves, but for the people that are close to us and the people that we partner with in general. Not just, you might not think of yourself as being close to your boss or close to the people that you work with, but you partner with them, you work with them. And so we want to be fair with them as well. And then going into Thursday, another no exact aspects kind of day. So again, most of this week has just been moon action. It's just about how we feel and what we're saying about it and what we're considering, what we're planning. And then Wednesday becomes sort of more about what we want to act on. Thursday, we still got that moon in Libra. We're taking actions. We hope that our actions feel balanced and fair. And then on Friday, the waxing Libra moon moves on into Scorpio. And when the moon moves into Scorpio, it's a much more internal vibration. Again, we're moving from air, which is intellect. It's all about what's happening up here in the head, the words we're saying, the plans we're making, and it's going to water. So it's more about emotion and gut feelings. Okay. And when the moon is in Scorpio, that is our invitation to be doing like the inside job, the inside work. Okay. And there's always inside work to do. There's always stuff that needs to be cleared out of the basement, out of the storage, out of the garage. And that is a metaphor for, your subconscious, or the things that you don't think about, the things that you put off, the things that you delay or avoid worrying about. This is the time to really get introspective and face some of those things so that we can see what we can get rid of, right? How we can lighten our load. And also the moon being in Scorpio, while it's waxing gibbous now while we're taking action gives us like a really emotionally powerful push and a really powerful ability to intuitively know what has to happen next so that we can just power our way forward toward getting some of those accomplishments under our belt. And I think that's really positive. Also this Friday, do you have something?
When you were talking about that, so Friday is July 4th, I believe. And
yes, it
so
is.
you were talking about doing the inside work, and that could mean, like, first of all, we here celebrate with fireworks and stuff. So I'm hoping that more people don't do fireworks. Maybe it is that we're like turning a corner there. Just me personally, like, I love them and I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I worry about the animals and the veterans and the people who don't like it more than I worry about seeing them for the millionth time in my life. I love them and I don't. But it just made me think, like, maybe it is you're the person inside, making sure the potato salad gets set out, or cooking, or peeling the potatoes or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bring yourself in side in that way.
Nurture for sure.
Right. But I'm gonna look up the chart for the 4th of July and put that up here in a minute.
Okay.
Just for
So also on the 4th of July, Venus has a conjunction with Uranus in the late degrees of Taurus. Okay, so these are both about to cross over into Gemini, and they're right there at like 28, 29 degrees of Taurus. It's a very powerful point in Taurus. In any sign is the 29th degree. It's like when these things get the most Taurus, okay, get the most Taurus influence. So Venus has been relating, has been giving, we'll say Venus has been giving Taurus for the past several weeks. And Venus in Taurus, very comfortable vibration because Venus rules Taurus. Venus is the empress in Taurus. All good things flow to her and through her. So that's been a very grounded quality for us to have, to be able to live with for a while. And then Uranus in Taurus, different story, has been in Taurus for over a decade. Okay, it's been a long time. And Uranus in Taurus has been shaking things up in terms of the stuff that we like, love, and can't get enough of, the things that we need, the security that we seek, the comfort that we seek. It's been shaking up the availability of products. It's been shaking up the availability of housing, of just like security in general. So we're kind of happy to see Uranus on the way out of Taurus. We're less happy to see Venus on the way out of Taurus into Gemini, although it's not that bad. But today, and by today I mean this coming Friday, July the 4th, Venus is going to conjunct Uranus. Uranus is a signature for surprises, and it's the 4th of July. So I would expect a big surprise. I would expect something sparkling and shiny to happen. And conjunction energy is neither really good or positive. It's just high pressure. It's very intense. So it's going to be like what you choose to make of it. And Venus in Taurus, hopefully we're coming from a place of really feeling strongly secure in our own foundations, in who we are and what we have, so that when that surprise comes about, woo, that, it might be surprising, it might feel positive, it might feel negative. Notice how it feels, right? But understand that you are secure and you're still fine, all right? Again, I wrote the note for this is a marker for surprise, upset, or even technological upgrades in our relationships to the people and things we like, love, and can't get enough of. And then also on Friday, July 4th, Venus is moving on into Gemini. So Venus moves out of Taurus. Well, Venus makes this conjunction with Uranus at the end of Taurus, and then a couple of hours later just goes on into Gemini. So it's like a little strangers in the night, of a little positive soothing of the potentially very exciting or surprising information that comes to light about the availability of resources. And then Gemini moves on, and Venus moves on in Gemini. And when Venus is in Gemini, our sense of love and attraction just shifts a little bit. Like, we all have our own way of attracting things and our own set of things that we like, love, and can't get enough of. But our sense of that is going to shift to feeling love and attraction to people and things that stimulate our brains and get us thinking and make us feel creative, okay? When we feel free to develop our partnerships in an open and collaborative way, there is so much more, right? Because there's so much more we can do together than we can do absolutely on our own. And I am one of those people who have done a lot. I have done a lot of that work where I have a great idea and I start to make a plan and I think this is how it's got to be. And I get very detail oriented and the plan gets very big. And then I kind of give up on the plan because I haven't bothered to collaborate with anybody else. And I'm going to have to rely on other people to unfold the plan. Okay. So we're getting a little bit into this conversation now about how do we really unfold the plans that we want to take initiative on. And part of that is going to be like collaboration, partnership, right? Venus is about partnership. Gemini is a partnership. So it's really about collaboration and partnership, how we work with other people to achieve greater goals that don't just serve us, but they serve everybody's security. And then
this is so very relevant, right? Like I'm hearing all of this for us personally. I'm like, whoa, okay, I see what I've got to do next week.
Right. And then also on July 4th, so the 4th of July is a big day, guys. We're talking mostly about the 4th of July for this coming week. Then after Venus moves on into Gemini and after Venus conjuncts Uranus and then moves on into Gemini, then Neptune goes retrograde on Friday, okay? And that happens later in the afternoon. But what we want to notice about Neptune going retrograde is that when planets go retrograde, they appear from our perspective to stop at the point they are in the sky before they've been going on one way and then they stop for a little bit and they kind of go the other way. And Neptune is one of those big outer planets. It's retrograde a lot. It spends a good portion of the year retrograde. So we don't always notice the difference between Neptune going forward and backward. But when the planets stop in the sky before they change directions, they pull a lot of focus. They have a lot of power and influence and energy. And Neptune is that power and influence of the mystery, the dream, the illusion, the fog, the things that we idealize, the things that we hope for, also somewhat the things that we fear, right? Because we're in a fog. So it can be about our illusions. And really when Neptune goes retrograde, it's about dissolving illusions. So start to notice like where you are dissolving your illusions and your idealizations about yourself. Okay, Neptune in Aries. About yourself, about your self-image, and about what high ideals are motivating you, okay? Some of the masks are falling. Some of these sort of hardened ideas that we had about ourselves, about our self-image, and about what motivates us are gonna fall away, and we're gonna get a bigger sense, a broader sense of what motivates us. And that's coming up later on when Neptune moves further back into Pisces and we become more collective minded again. So if Friday feels like a spiritual awakening or a shift of heart and consciousness, an epiphany, remember you get several epiphanies in your lifetime if you are open to them. If it's feeling like that, you're not alone. This is going to be a time for refining our spiritual values and bringing our relationships, our love relationships, friends, family, workmates into alignment with the new perspective that we have on ourselves and therefore on the rest of the world. All right. And then going into Saturday, we have a waxing Scorpio moon. Again, doing that inside work, clearing out the debris and clutter from our hearts and our subconscious and our past and our negative feelings about ourselves and other people. And then On Sunday, the waxing Scorpio moon moves into Sagittarius, and a moon in Sagittarius is a little bit more like our little hearts grow wings and we become outgoing. We've spent some time within, we've been doing some processing of feelings and emotions and intuition. And then on Sunday, when the moon goes into Sagittarius, we become a little more just bright and alive and social and outgoing, and we want to make contact with the broader world after spending some time with ourselves. It's sort of like, hey world, I'm brand new.
Yeah, that's after the hangover and the meat and the beer hangover from Friday. I'm ready. Yes. I'm ready to go now. It's time to go to the lake again, right? Oh, woo! Beer.
And then we have some more kind of significant stuff at the very end of the week. Venus is going to sextile Neptune and Saturn on Sunday of this coming week, so next Sunday. And both of those big planets are retro at that point. So Venus is acting under a new influence, but these are still cooperative vibrations and they're meant to bring about some positive consequences. So I'm not going to lean too heavily on those today. Next Sunday will be a day to put in some effort into our conversations about what we're working toward and how we would ideally like to see it play out. And then very quickly, next week, Uranus is going to follow Venus into Gemini. So we're going through all these shifts in signs and we're doing retrograde. It feels very transition-y. It is very transition-y. It's all happening at once. And that's what this whole year is about. Uranus is going to go into Gemini. There's a full moon in Capricorn, not this coming Thursday, but the next Thursday. And Saturn will also retrograde next Saturday. So that's the upcoming astrology. But for this week, I mean, I'm really just happy that this week gives us some quiet moments, gives us some time to process, to focus on what it is we're trying to create, what we're trying to achieve, and really like push in that direction. It really gives us a bit of a breather and time to notice how we're feeling about the changes that we're going through. And then Friday really is going to come in with some surprises and some very shifty energy. So, try to maintain an emotional balance and an emotional calm on Friday while you feel things shifting around you. It doesn't have to be an emergency, but it can be pretty intense feeling.
I don't really have much to add. Okay. Sorry, not sorry. For everybody here, I struggle with migraines and it's been a long morning for me so far. So I'm just doing my best.
All right. Well, we are at the end of the astrology portion of today's live. So thank you for joining us again. I'm so happy that you're here with us. And I'm going to move on to do the free tarot card reading for the coming week. So I'm gonna do this a 2-card reading. And today, because we have peaceful hours and then we have less peaceful hours this week, okay? We start the week really with kind of peaceful hours, some intensity, but really an opportunity to work through the intensity and notice what we're feeling and like deal with our stuff. So I really like having those peaceful hours. A lot of the stuff that I process emotionally, I do it very quietly. I do it sort of, in a subdued way. I'm thinking and feeling on the inside, and I'm processing these things. So I appreciate the quiet time sometimes so that I can just do that. So the first card is about like what can we do with the peaceful hours that we have this week? When you find a peaceful hour, what can you do with it? And the card that I'm pulling up is the Moon in reverse. So what this says to me is the changes that we're going through personally and collectively, these are changes that we're not in control of. They're changes that we're not entirely aware of. And sometimes there's not much you can do about it except allow yourself to have some peace and let your body, your heart, and your mind process the change, okay? Sometimes there's not really anything to do about it except give yourself some time and space, give yourself a breather, give yourself a nap, or, like an opportunity to just hang out on the floor, or, like really do nothing for a while, achieve very little, so that, when you get those peaceful hours, I'm not saying all week is like this, okay? I'm just saying when you get those peaceful hours, give yourself an opportunity to really do nothing. And like my connection was lost. Am I still with you? Okay. Just allow yourself the time to notice how you're feeling and allow that stuff to move through you. That's the great thing about emotions. People resist feeling. They resist feeling love. They resist feeling anger. They resist feeling fear. They resist feeling hope even. But emotions are temporary, and they really inform us about what it is that we need and desire in our lives. So allowing those feelings to come up, noticing them, saying, this is what I feel right now, and then letting it go. I mean, that really is a powerful way to find some healing and do some self-nurture this week. So in the peaceful hours this week, try your best to do as little as possible. Like journaling, reflection, these things are important and they are advised, but you don't even have to work that hard on it. That's what the moon in reverse tells me. Okay. It's happening whether you do the work, whether you're consciously doing the work or not. Okay, so in the less peaceful hours, because coming up on Friday, we're going to have a whole mixture of things happening, some intensity, some shifting vibrations. It's not entirely negative, it's not entirely positive, but it will be active. There are some surprises definitely in the offing for us. What can we do in those exciting moments to what can we do in those exciting moments? What can we do for ourselves in those exciting moments? Oh, I love it. So it's kind of almost the other moon card. It's the it's the High Priestess, who is strongly associated with the moon. So the fact that we got the moon in reverse and the High Priestess is to me a very, like, what I would call a symmetrical reading, or yes, we're talking about the same stuff here. Okay. So when things get exciting, I would say the High Priestess seeks to stay grounded in her knowledge of her security, and also, because she's seated there, and also she, what do I want to say? Trusts herself and her gut and her guidance and her intuition. Okay. So when things are exciting, remember that you are secure, that you're okay. Unless you're not. If you're not safe, run, take care of yourself, do what you've got to do, right? But when things get exciting, remember your grounding. Remember what keeps you grounded, okay? Remember that you're okay, and remember to trust yourself and what your intuition is telling you.
Right. And definitely trust what it is that you're seeing, what you're experiencing at that time. I mean, especially, I think if you're in a crowd or you're with the people, I mean, you just got to trust what you're seeing, happening and what you're hearing. And you have to trust yourself to understand the in-betweens.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people speak in code these days. I don't know. I mean, I speak in code with friends too, but I mean, like a lot of people, I feel like make you work for a conversation sometimes. And it's really important for you to know who you are in that conversation and how you feel. And then, like hold back the really intense portions of that, right? Like to be the true High Priestess. I'm the High Priestess. I am always challenged by the High Priestess to be that person in a really challenging time. I'm usually the person that sets it off. Like I will find the elephant in the room, and if that elephant's going to be in the room for 10 hours while we're trying to get together and have fun, let's just go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room and go on and have fun, So I think a lot of people come to gatherings like that to kind of dump off an elephant in the room, so if you're responding to it or whatever, I think it also is just a caution, like don't be the one to do the elephant in the room this time. Like just to keep
Yeah.
your own shit together and don't react to it.
Maintain your
Mhm.
peace.
Yeah. Just don't, you
Yeah.
don't even have the time, space, energy, or fucks to give to even mess with this business. It's not even
Mhm.
any part of you or anything that really has to do with you. And I think you're just going to know this when it comes up. So just bat it off and continue to have a good time. You don't have to leave necessarily unless you feel, you know, unless you feel like, again, like it's abusive, or that you can't hold it back. But I believe that you can hold it back this time, and I feel like holding back and sitting back and looking at it and not reacting this time is really going to give you something that you can chew on in a real way. So
Yes, observation. That's
yes.
the other thing about remembering that you're safe, remembering that you are materially grounded, and remembering that you can trust your gut guidance and intuition is it gives you the power to kind of sit back and observe what is happening and take in more information before you take action. And I wanted to say that both of these cards today are about trusting
Hmm.
yourself, because this one is about, in the quiet hours, trust your own subconscious, your own psyche, your own heart, mind, and body to be doing that healing work, whether you are worried about it or not. Okay. And then in the less quiet hours, in the exciting hours of this week, trust your grounding and trust, your intuition, uh, so that you can sit back and observe and get more information and be prepared when you're ready to act.
My best high priestess stance in a situation like that socially is I bring a book. And I probably read the same page over and over again, but it's a way that I can
Mhm.
grab some privacy and maybe show people, like, I know that everybody does the earbuds now, but a book is a whole different thing. People don't like to interrupt
Mhm.
people when they're, reading most times, especially if they're being, if they're being kind and looking at you. But it does give you an
Yeah.
opportunity. I mean, even if you have to put it above your face, like, oh, I'm not getting into this one, I'm not going to say anything. You can block yourself from it, block yourself from seeing it. Just kind of like, nope,
Mhm.
not my monkeys, not my circus, not my problem.
Yes.
And so I did that a million and one times. And sometimes I would bring the dictionary and no one would even notice what book it was. I could have a car repair book, or just I could have anything. And it really kept people away from me in a social situation, especially if you're poolside or lakeside and there's a bunch of people there that
Mhm.
you don't want to have conversation with even. Then I think a book is a really good way to just kind of separate yourself socially.
Mhm. Yes, definitely. To remain aloof sometimes, will attract some attention. Sometimes if you remain
Mhm.
aloof, people will accuse you of you thinking you're too good,
Yes,
or,
and that's
you
okay.
know, not wanting to engage properly. But it also just gives you a little bit of a buffer and gives you time and space to really, like, um, be smart about what's going on around you. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So bring a book, bring a
Bring a
magazine,
book.
bring a comic book. It doesn't matter. Bring something.
Mhm.
That's my advice to you. You're welcome.
Exactamundo.
Couldn't see that, but you're welcome for that advice. All right.
Mhm.
So I guess we're done here then. You've pulled the two cards, uh, and we've talked about the astrology. Um, I
Mhm.
I look for I look for there to be uh, I don't know. Next week's going to be interesting. I look for America to be doing a lot of protesting on the 4th of July. 4th of July on a Friday, that's pretty cool. So there's going to be a lot of celebrations. The highways are going to be packed with people running away, running out. That's awesome. Just remember
Mhm.
to, dot your I's, cross your T's, and be patient when you're on the road with everybody. Okay. Don't drink.
Please be patient on Friday.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
drink and drive or any of that kind of stuff. And just remember to take care of yourself, the basic needs, like make sure you are eating something that maybe, not just always hot dogs are not always the cherry pies, and make sure that you're hydrating.
Make sure you dip into that green salad for a minute.
Coleslaw. So rude.
Eat some corn.
Right. Eat some corn at least. It's good for you. But anyway, that's going to conclude Astro Insights Live with the Roses. My name is Jennifer Rose, and this is my sweet wife, Melrose. And we live here in Kansas City, Missouri. We come to you every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, where we recap last week's astrology. We discuss the astrology for the week ahead, and we do usually a 2-card tarot card reading. On Thursdays, we're back with you live at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time to do a yes/no tarot showdown, where Mel and I will take a question that can be answered with a yes or no in the chat, and we go ahead and give you the answers together. And we do a lot of good tarot readings through that medium, and we've also done a lot of accurate predictions through that medium for free. So Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, tune in to us, and then we'll be back again to see you on Sunday. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe, like this video, and let us know down in the comments what your sun sign is, at least if you know that. So thank you so much for joining us here at Rose Tarot and Astrology, and we are very grateful and we appreciate you being here with us today.
Mucho amor. Thank you so much for joining us.